In today's video, we will be taking a look at an updated 2024 presidential election prediction between Vivek Ramaswamy and Joe Biden. Vivek Ramaswamy is an American multimillionaire who is running for president and currently polling in the third place for the GOP primaries, while Joe Biden is obviously the current president. So without further ado, let's get right into today's prediction. Now, this is the prediction map of the states vote in. We see that Vivek Ramaswamy is at 113 electoral votes to Joe Biden, who is at 181 electoral votes. Now, some of these states for Vivek Ramaswamy, such as Montana or Kansas, may actually be likely for him in the general election, but I'm not really going to touch into them. So let's start off with Vivek Ramaswamy's likely states because he is currently behind in the electoral vote count. First off, we're going to start off with Alaska and South Carolina. Both these states not super surprising. I do believe that Vivek Ramaswamy is going to win both of these states by likely margins because of the fact that Trump won these states by 10 points in Alaska and 12 points in South Carolina, respectively. So that's going to be it for him. Now going to the next two likely states, Iowa and Ohio. Both of these states voted for Trump by about 8 points, Iowa by 8.2, and the state of Ohio by 8.1. Both of these states are quite similar in terms of Trump just overall improving in some of the working class areas. In the state of Ohio, this would be some of the Cleveland suburbs / exurbs, while the state of Iowa pretty much be the entire state, including many of the rural areas. Now, this is pretty much it for Vivek Ramaswamy's likely states. Now, let's go to Joe Biden's likely states. I think Colorado, New Mexico will be both likely states for Joe Biden in this scenario. I do believe that both these states are obviously going to vote for him. Colorado voted for him by 13.5 points in 2020, so it could technically be a safe state, but it's probably going to be likely. New Mexico also being a likely state, Virginia as well being a likely state. Also see Maine's at-large vote voting for Joe Biden by around 9 points, also probably going to be a likely state in this scenario. We also see that Minnesota is probably going to be a likely state for Joe Biden in this scenario. I do believe that Vivek Ramaswamy is not the strongest candidate, and Joe Biden will probably win that state by a likely margin. And finally, New Hampshire, this state also voted for Joe Biden by around 7 points, along with the state of Minnesota. Minnesota Democrats have seen pretty decent performances in the Minneapolis suburbs. Many of these counties are trending toward the Democratic Party and may continue to do so in 2024 against a candidate like Vivek Ramaswamy. While for the state of New Hampshire, the state voted for Joe Biden by 7 points. We see that, again, the entire region trended towards the Democratic Party, and see that Trump only won 2 small counties in the state, while Biden swept the rest. So I do believe Ramaswamy is probably going to lose the state. Now going to Ramaswamy's lean states in this scenario, I do believe Maine's 2nd Congressional District will be a lean district. Now this district voted for Trump by 7 points in 2020, and after districting, the district remained largely the same. Nonetheless, pretty much speaking, I don't think that he will be as strong of a candidate. I think he'll only win that by a lean margin, probably around 4 to 5 points. Another state I think he'll probably win by 4 to 5 points, the state of Texas. I do believe that Vivek Ramaswamy will probably win the state by 4 to 5 points. Now, looking at the state of Texas, I do believe that someone like Vivek Ramaswamy will not do super well. I think he'll continue to underperform previous Republicans in some of these counties that Democrats have consistently done better in, such as Fort Worth and Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. And I think that he's someone who can have decent rural appeal, but his suburban appeal is just quite lacking. I just don't think that. I think that many people are actually going to vote against someone like Vivek Ramaswamy. So I do believe that Democrats will probably make inroads in the state of Texas. Now, Florida is another state that will be in the lean Republican column. We see that Trump there won by 3.3 points, and though this state definitely by that margin could be competitive, the reason I don't think so is that, again, Republicans have seen significant overperformances in some of the panhandle counties, as well as, most importantly, in some of these heavy Hispanic regions. Miami-Dade County, for instance, trended 22 points more Republican in 2020 compared to 2016. Hillary Clinton had won the county by around 30 points, while Joe Biden won the county by just 7 points. We also saw that in some of the other counties, though not as significantly. So definitely, just based on the trends, I just don't think that Democrats could actually win the state of Florida. That will be it for Vivek Ramaswamy's lean states. Now for Joe Biden's lean states, we see a lot of them actually. New Hampshire's Nebraska's second district, I think, will possibly be in the likely column because he did win the district against Trump by 7. I just don't think those voters will end up favoring someone like Vivek Ramaswamy. I think Michigan will first of all be in the lean Democratic column. Joe Biden won the state by almost 3 points in 2020. And someone like Vivek Ramaswamy just isn't someone who can make inroads in some of these areas that Republicans desperately need to gain in. For example, Kent County, Flint County, or Oakland County. And I think he's someone who could generally lose support in some of these suburban counties, which will be crucial for Republican victories. A similar scenario in the state of Pennsylvania. Joe Biden barely won that state by over a point. He barely got a majority in the state of Pennsylvania. But against someone like Vivek Ramaswamy, Democrats will probably have pretty high turnout, especially in the suburban areas, which have been trending towards the Democratic Party. And I think Republicans, though they could be energized by Vivek Ramaswamy's speech, I just don't think that he is someone who's super appealing to many voters, especially in the suburban regions. He'll probably lose the state of Pennsylvania by a lean margin. Another state I think he'll probably lose by a lean margin is the state of Arizona, a state that has become more and more pretty much moderate, and many suburbanites will probably not support someone like Vivek because he is conservative in a way like Trump. While he has many of the problems in terms of electability that Trump has, he doesn't offer many benefits. And I think many of the things that Trump do have that favors Trump's electability, Vivek Ramaswamy do not offer. And I think that's a reason why he's just going to lose a state like Arizona. Another state he's probably going to lose, the state of Georgia. This is also a state that has been trending blue recently. Many suburban voters do not support people like Trump or really the Trump ideology. And someone like Vivek Ramaswamy, which is pretty much the second Trump but lacks electability, is probably not going to do well in that state. Now for the final 3 states here. These 3 states will be tilt states. First off, North Carolina, I do believe someone like Vivek Ramaswamy could win a state like North Carolina. Now realistically, he could end up actually losing this state. Trump only won it by 1.3 points, and some of the trends in some of the Democratic areas do smell problems for the Republicans. But again, we see that Republicans have seen overperformances in some of these counties. You see by sometimes pretty substantial margins, but these counties are kind of small and don't offer much of electoral impact. So the final 2 states, Nevada and Wisconsin. Let's start off with the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a Rust Belt state that Biden only won by 0.63 points. And this is a state that he could realistically lose in. I think against most candidates, Biden will actually lose the state against Donald Trump. But against Vivek Ramaswamy, someone who is just not popular, someone who is just not very well liked by many moderate voters, I think someone like him will probably end up losing the state against Joe Biden. After all, Biden did win the state against 2020 against a, comparatively speaking, much tougher opponent, Donald Trump, than someone who was like Vivek Ramaswamy, someone that's just not experienced and probably not very well liked. Finally, in the state of Nevada, Biden did win the state by 2.4 points. He did win a majority. And someone like Vivek Ramaswamy probably won't do super well in some of the Clark County suburbs, probably just doesn't have much appeal overall speaking. I do believe for those reasons that Vivek Ramaswamy will also lose the state of Nevada, which ends the video with the same exact electoral map as 2020, Vivek Ramaswamy at 235 to Joe Biden at 303. Thank you for watching, have a nice day. Goodbye.